shred guitar. I love what these kids say these days. You're so extra. Shred guitar is extra. Extra notes, extra fast, extra loud, extra exciting. It is the sound of overspilling. It is the sound of a cup runneth over, of bubbling over, of leaps and bounds, of soaring heights, of dive bomb whammy bars. It is all these things. And I'm going to do a very cursory history. Please, if I leave your favorite guitar hero out, don't hate me. I had to pick and choose. Also, so many of these people are new to me. I don't know them. I don't know them. When they come up to you with something like them, and they know you, and you don't know them, and it's embarrassing. So now I have a lookbook kid. And he sits there and he goes, that's Joe Satriani. He's a big deal. And then I say, all right, but I thought he was bald. And they say, he is bald. He has a baseball hat on. You're not wearing your glasses. Now I know. I don't mess it up. I want to start with sound. What I think is one of the peak achievements in the shred style. Because I just want to kick us off so we all get some of you may not know about this sound. What you're about to hear is what I see as one of the highest achievements in the form. All right, I'm going to turn this up. You ready? Here we go. That's Jason Becker, Altitudes. I also want to start with this. Here's a little bit of a mission statement, I think, from another classic shredster, Yngwie Malmsteen. I love this quote. Oh, I know, he's the king.
The second one I did was Alcatraz had a producer in there. And he kept on telling me to slow down. You know, he says, hey, slow down. I'm like, oh. You know, remember, less is more. Less is more. And I always said, how can that be? How can less be more? It's impossible. More is more.
So to understand the modern guitar hero, we go back to the 60s. London. Jimi Hendrix arrives in London and sets it on fire with a Marshall stack and a Fender Stratocaster turned the wrong way, a fuzz pedal, and a wah-wah. Hendrix took the stage antics of the blues player, playing behind your head, playing with your teeth, to a whole new level. And a theme I'm going to return to is that technology inspires technique. So the fuzz pedal, the wah-wah, these inspired him. He took the blues, supercharged them with these high-gain technologies, and then with the psychedelic spirit of the age, lit a fire under all of it and ascended to a fifth dimension of existence that will never be equaled. All modern guitar heroes owe a debt to Jimi Hendrix, whether they play in the blues or not. Thank you. To Hendrix, the guitar was a potent sexual object and symbol, a sacrificial object, and she shriek. See, we come back to a banshee shriek over and over again. Even when it is a male player, the banshee finds her way through. Now we go on through the 70s, and I have to skip over so many people. Don't hate me, please don't hate me. Jimmy Page, of course, playing guitar with a bow, creating new sonic landscapes. We have Iron Maiden, Richie Blackmore. It killed me to pull out my favorite clip of all, which is Uli John Roth. You must look at Sails of Sharon. You must watch it, all guitar players. If you haven't watched Sails of Sharon, that opening solo, your card is revoked. Your card is revoked by Mrs. Smith, the librarian cardress of Shred. Okay, now I have my glasses on, I can't see. Where's Joe Satriani? Okay, so I want you to pretend that it's 1978 and you are 16 years old. Maybe you love Led Zeppelin. Maybe you think you know your way around the guitar. You can play a whole lot of Love. You can play Going to California. You can even play Stairway to Heaven, maybe. All right? So you're doing pretty good. You like some of the new heavy metal sounds, Black Sabbath, what have you. Someone introduces you to a new rock band out of California. You put their album on. You turn off the lights. Your parents are out for the night. Okay? You're going to turn up the stereo loud. You put your head between the two speakers. You listen to the first song. It's good. It's good stuff. Good sounds. You like it? Then this comes on. Now, if we can all actually close our eyes, I do ask if you could close your eyes and just hear these sounds. Imagine, if you've heard it before, imagine you've never heard it ever. And imagine that you have no way of knowing that this is a guitar. You have no way of knowing what instrument this is. Here we go. Close your eyes. Eruption by Edward Van Halen would crack open the world of rock, the world of guitar. Nothing would ever be the same. People could not understand. He introduced so many things. First of all, and again, technology allows for new technique. A double locking whammy bar system, which you see on this guitar here, allows for extreme manipulation of the whammy bar, pulling up, pulling down, and the strings not to go out of tune. And the dive bomb whammy bars, also the use of harmonics, pinch harmonics, natural harmonics, but it was really the two-handed tapping technique, which I will demonstrate later in a short guitar recital after the panel. The two-handed tapping technique, which he did not invent. There's earlier precedents of it actually on film, of people doing it, but he popularized it. The sound was so, what it allows for is for a note to be held, another note to be hammered on, and then anywhere else on the neck, a third note to be hammered on, then pulled off to sound the second note, and then this note pulled off to sound again the original note. Allowing for leaps in pitch that had not been heard on the guitar before. Also, Edward is a brilliant engineer. He took a Stratocaster-style guitar. He took the pickups out of a Les Paul. He liked the fat sound of the Les Paul. He made a Franken guitar. He stuck the Les Paul pickups in there. He pulled everything apart. He again, technology allowed for new technique. He jacked up his amplifiers to get super gain. He added phaser. He is not a shred guitarist. This is interesting. There's some shredding on there, yes. But what happens is shred, he planted so many seeds. He's such an originator. He's such a genius, an absolute genius of the 20th century. A genius of the rock idiom. But he is truly at his greatest when you listen to his rhythm playing. You listen to the album 1984, he's a rock and roller. Not a hard rocker, not a heavy metaler. That's straight. That's very straight. In Van Halen, even in Eruption, there is swing. There is groove. There is a turning and a circularity. Because he is pulling, in fact, on the rock and roll tradition from Chuck Berry and the early rockers. It's interesting to note that of all the sort of famous shredders of the 80s, Edward is just a little bit older than a lot of his peers. He's just a little bit older, and I think it made some of his influences a little more rock and roll, a little more R&B. So there's a whole group of people who came up listening to Hendrix. Now Edward Van Halen opens this portal of technology, of technique, of possibility. Well, the lid is off, and the 80s become the shred era. Shred is everywhere. It's in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It's in movies. The movie Crossroads with Steve Vai playing the devil's guitar player. Brilliant scene. It explodes. Everyone's trying to play faster than everyone else. Edward opened a door, but there's one person, I believe, who truly set the technical standard, and that is Yngwie Malmsteen. Taking techniques and musical phraseology built up in classical music, there's always shred is really the soul and heart of rock and roll, married with the technical proficiency of a classical style musicianship. Maybe also you find it in jazz playing. But when you run a current through an electric guitar, you are able to play faster because of the pickups, they amplify the sound, to play legato, to achieve what violinists can achieve much more easily. It also allows the guitar to sound like a synthesizer or a saxophone. It's not something you can do as easily with an acoustic or a folk guitar. Now, in Yngwie, you heard sweeping arpeggios. An arpeggio, you take a chord, a C chord, C, E, G, and you, instead of playing them all at once, you play them one at a time. 1, 3, 5. Then you repeat it, one up an octave. 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. And on the guitar, these are swept, and the pick is raked against the strings. There's this leaping, acrobatic sound. It's absolutely thrilling. And I love it, and he's the master at it. Now, people say he has no feel. I disagree. And here's how you know. Go and look up a million videos of people trying to play this and playing it badly. And YouTube is bless their hearts. Don't make a mean comment. But people, they do upload these videos. When you hear someone play a song like this badly, you realize how much musicality. And it's that that is technically maybe not the most difficult part of that song. A trill, but it leaps. It's musical. It is not mere technical flashery. So I have to skip over everyone amazing. Paul Gilbert, Marty Friedman, Joe Satriani, on and on, everyone. Shred exploded in the 80s. It was in popular culture, as I said. This is the first wave of shred, and we're about to reach its peak. The peak comes in 1990, with the release of what is the greatest rock instrumental guitar album of all time. The rock instrumental guitar album, really, its biggest sort of progenitors, is not even the word. Jeff Beck put out Blow by Blow and some other albums. Great work. Then you had Joe Satriani. Surfing with the Alien was, on the radio. He had songs that were pop hits. Yngwie Malmsteen's album, Rising Force. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. But none of them had achieved the size and the scale and the artistic depth of this masterwork by a master artist at the height of his powers. And he's going to say with the guitar, breathe in your ear. Listen. Steve Vai's Passion in Warfare. Believe me, choosing out of that a masterpiece. Not only of technical proficiency on the guitar, but of a depth of songwriting, a depth of creative searching and spiritual searching. And also technologically, he used the Eventide harmonizer a great deal on this. He invented a 7-string guitar, which created some of those growling, speaking sounds. His invention of the 7-string guitar would go on to inspire artists from the band Korn and other to delve into new, and to this day, the 7, 8-string, now they have 10, 12, it's on and on, going deeper, deeper. The inspiration that he inspired, incredible. But really what it did was, first of all, it went gold the rock instrumental album going gold. It was 18, I believe, on the Billboard chart. And what he had done, a lot of these rock guitar instrumental albums, they're terrific, but they sound very small. They're recorded in smaller studios. There's not a lot of a budget. And what this artist had done is he had performed with quite large bands throughout the 80s. David Lee Roth, playing huge stadiums. And then a mega deal with Whitesnake. I believe it was $1 million. And he had created a home studio that was a real full studio. So the guitars on this album sound huge. They sound like a song on the radio, like a big, big, big rock record. The drums sound huge. The whole album speaks with a gravitas, not just in its topic, although it does range from spirituality all the way to comedy. There's a comedic song with the Mrs. Smith type character, a teacher, little Stevie Vai is terrorizing the class, and it's so wonderful. So much creativity and fantasy. But the issue is then, basically, every guitar player just looked at their instrument and said, okay, why bother? I mean, it really was just one of those, let's just all stop now. But something else happened. Kurt Cobain came up pretty soon after this. Okay, I think not soon after this. Grunge hit, authenticity was in, flannel shirts, sparkly hair, crazy guitars, crazy loud guitar solos, out. Overnight, the landscape shifted. Joe Satriani declares in the pages of Guitar World, shred is dead. It goes underground. Boo, it's not true. It goes underground. And then, the internet. And we have now a way to unify all of these disparate fans. They don't need to be, it doesn't need to be mainstream top-selling music, because there's enough people all around the world who love it, who can support it. And so with the internet came so many things. Intensive in tutorials and lessons, every song dissected by 100 people. Any song you want to learn, hop online, you can learn it from 100 different people. What happened then is that young people began to learn these songs much earlier and become much more proficient. You will soon see one of my heroes, Lisa X, an incredible little girl who's shredding with the best of them. Everyone's terrified of her. And she's amazing, and she's a sweet pea and an absolutely delightful young lady now. But she was 8 when she put her first video on. Tutorials. You also have, the guitar players it's more niche marketed. They have their gourmet guitar camps. So the fans from the 80s, maybe they settled down, stopped being heavy metal collateral damage people, got a job, you know what I mean? And they have some resources and they can afford a $4,000 weekend with Steve Vai. And you pay the money and then you get to get a lesson with him. Or you can go on a cruise with Yngwie Malmsteen. No! Don't! I will have a guitar cruise, but it will also include a role-playing castaway adventure. It will be like Love Boat meets Lost with guitars. So there's also playthrough videos. The artists are marketing directly to their fans. It's a whole new world, and it's very much alive. And I'm going to show you some of the people who I've noticed in this world. They're people who I admire, whose artistry inspires me. These are our current day guitar gods and guitar goddesses. If you like something you hear, write down their name, buy their album, okay? Help these artists. made my point that shred lives on. Thank you. I'm Mrs. Smith.